Hello, I am hiding my true identity and voice while making this video, for personal reasons known only to me. I know you will be asking me why, and after telling my story, I am sorry. I am sure you will understand the reason. However, I will tell you in its entirety what I went through one dark night, while driving alone on a fairly deserted road. An occasional car or two would drive by, but as it got later, I found myself, the queen of the road. I loved the serenity of driving at night alone and found it to be relaxing. My job had been increasingly hectic that month, and I needed a little personal trip to gather my thoughts. As the drive went on, it seemed like an uneventful drive. A few hours later, nothing out of the ordinary happened, except I was getting drowsy. I was hoping to find a gas station so I could pull over and get some drink to help keep me alert. Happy to see a gas station, I pulled in quickly. I settled for some energy drink and hoped it would help. The man at the checkout counter said it helped him stay awake. Once outside, I got in my car, locked the doors, and drank it. Not all, but about 1/4 the can. I was driving through New Mexico, heading to Texas, my final destination, where my brother lived. It was dark out, but some moonlight lit up the road and surrounding land. In the road, I could see movement like hundreds of round things moving across the road. I put my bright lights on, and I could see them. A huge group of tarantulas crossing the road, and their path went right under my car too. I shivered at the thought of them being squashed onto my tires, or even crawling up the tires into the bottom of my car. So, I floored the vehicle to get away from the area they were migrating across. Once it looked clear, I pulled over and breathed a sigh of relief. This was only the beginning of this nightmare. I drank about another fourth of my drink and sat for a moment on the side of the road. It was so quiet out, not a sound, nothing. Maybe the spider migration scared the other creatures away. In the back seat behind, I heard a sound. My first thought was a spider found its way in. I looked in the dash mirror, and sitting still and looking very stern was my dead grandparents. I swore it was them. I turned my head and looked, but no one was there. Again, I looked in the rear view mirror, and there, sitting and grinning, was my grandparents. Both were very still. I wanted to get out of the car and run, but remembered I was out of the middle of nowhere, just a few houses far apart. Also, there were spiders there. So I chose to stay in the car. After this incident with tarantulas migrating across the road, I later learned it was a real event, and not my imagination. Male tarantula migration occurs primarily in 5 states: California, Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, and Texas, during their mating season, which typically starts in the fall. And yes, they can migrate across roads and highways. So that was for real, but the other things were questionable, like my grandparents in the backseat of my car and cowboys in my motel room. Oh, I have not told you about the motel room yet? I pulled out from the side of the road where I was parked and drove down the dark road. I felt so alone. No other cars on the road, and the possibility of my dead grandparents in the backseat hitching a ride with me was very unsettling. I did not dare look into my rearview mirror. I did not want to see them still sitting there. But I got to tell you, the thought of one of them putting their hand on my shoulder while I was driving terrified me even more. I felt slightly lightheaded and dizzy, and was unsure if I was just overtired or actually having a bad brain day with hallucinations. I have never experienced episodes like this in my life. I began to pray while driving, asking for guidance on what to do. All I could think was I needed to get a hotel room and sleep the night off. Maybe all this nonsense would cease and I would feel normal again. How I wished I were closer to my brother in Texas. I looked for any sign of a hotel ahead, and after about 40 minutes of nothing, I saw some lights ahead, a sign of a small town. There was a rather old-looking hotel, but beggars cannot be choosers, or so they say. I needed to get off the road and sleep for the night. In the hotel office was a heavy-set older man in a t-shirt eating a sandwich. He seemed pleasant enough, but a bit unkempt. But what could I expect from such an old, dirty-looking hotel? It was just one night. He gave me the key to room 5 at a cost of $23, of which I paid. I parked the car in front of the room and grabbed the rest of my drink I bought at the store earlier. Once inside the room, I felt sick to my stomach, drank the rest of my soda or whatever it was, and just barely made it to the restroom. I think my nerves had gotten my stomach upset. The motel room was in a horrible condition. Dirty, peeling wallpaper looked like out of the 50s. The bed sheets looked okay, so I got under the covers. Just as I was closing my eyes, I heard a distinct noise coming from the door area. Oh dang, I thought. Someone else has got a key and came in. Or maybe it was the manager from the office creeping in. I tell you, I was scared so bad I was shaking. I peeked from under the covers and could not believe my eyes. Standing near the door was a cowboy, hat, boots, and all. My first thought was he was real and went under the covers again. When I got the courage, I peeked out once more. He was not there anymore. Nowhere in the room, in fact. I thought I was imagining him and dozed off to sleep. I needed to escape this night, and for me, that was the best solution. About 20 minutes later, I was awoken by a man clearing his throat sound. I pulled the covers down, and there he was again, the cowboy, near the bathroom door this time. He looked away from me and walked straight, right through the hotel room door. He never came back. All I remember next is me blacking out or fainting. That must have knocked me out because I did not wake up until dawn light. A breeze came through my windows, hitting the curtains, and it felt good on my face. I felt so much better. I splashed cold water on my face and jumped into my car. I saw a cafe down the street from the motel and decided to stop and have breakfast. A sweet waitress brought me coffee and my order, which was eggs and bacon. I left feeling better. So happy it was daylight out and just wanted to get to my brother's. I drove several hours without any more problems and reached my brother's house in Texas. Honestly, I never felt so relieved seeing a family member again and grabbed him in a long, sobbing hug. Trevor, my brother, listened to my story of what happened the night before on the way out. Of course, he thought I flipped my wig, went crazy and laughed at me. Everyone, once I got back home in Arizona, laughed at my story too. Honestly, I was disappointed. No one believed me. However, the spider migration was real. Tarantulas do migrate certain times of the year. The other hallucinations, I think, had to do with that drink I bought to stay alert. Nothing like this has happened to me again. You guessed it. I never will drive by myself alone at night anywhere. Call me a coward, and I guess that is what I am. But I am glad someone believes what I went through, and that person is me. Disclaimer. My name is Billy Peel, owner of Love to Films and creator of the short films you watch. AI is a new way of creating, but there is so much to explain about what I do using AI. For example, if you wanted to make a video years ago, I would have used a photograph to start it off, or create a drawing of my own idea to set the scene. Some popular movies use tables to set up miniature scenes for the film, or they used fake towns as the backdrop, buildings with no inside guts per se. The creation of videos takes time, and videos are usually made with either fake scene sets up to simulate a room, outside scene, or whatever is needed to make a believable backdrop for a movie. But it is not real, just a simulation or an illustration, or even an illusion. The true creation is a vision or dream made inside the heads of producers and filmmakers, script writers, audio directors, all coming together in whatever way possible to create a film or movie. AI will make it easier. You can type into an AI tool what you want to see in your picture, backdrop, or illustration, and it will create it for you. Yes, it costs money to do that. 90% of your requests by typing into the AI tool, you will find that you do not get exactly what you envisioned or asked for. But like any tool you use to create a film, there are errors. AI is not perfect. Therefore, one must fix the problems in the photo, delete or make transparent what is wrong, make movement where needed, put sound in for music, make a voice from scripts of what you want to be said. Organize everything in order and then fix it so when being created as a film, it all runs smoothly along. So much to add to AI. For all you who are curious, AI is just a tool. It is not perfect. The dream of a filmmaker is what makes the movie perfect. The endless hours of fixing and filling areas will create the movie. Just a little information about AI. I hope that will help to understand it better. It's just another tool.